And here we go. I believe we are live. And yes, well, good evening, or I should say good late afternoon, early evening hours from the Broken Spoke Taphouse inside the Amador Live. I'm Ernesto Garcia, and this is the Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast. And I'm glad they're getting a chance to join us. We have revamped this thing up a little bit more. Not only are we on the Facebook fan page for Mesilla Valley News and Your Country 1039 KGRT, we're also on the Twitter handles for both Mesilla Valley News and York Country 1039 KGRT. Even put my own personal Facebook and Twitter there as well. Plus, we have a YouTube channel now for Mesilla Valley News that's just got started. So therefore, you get more video, audio, and more audio on demand and video podcasts on demand like we do from the Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast. So we're live about 7 platforms. I think by next week, we'll be live to 8 platforms all at one time. So we're getting going. Now, usually we start the show around 6 o'clock. We're starting a little bit later. The reason why is we've got our high school football coaches who are our special guests that are going to be joining us. But right now, they are all making their way here, including Aaron Ocampo, the head coach of the Centennial Hawks football team, which hasn't played a game since October 22nd. They're getting ready for a state playoff game, and they get to take on a crosstown rival that they only beat by 1 point, the Las Cruces Bulldogs, who are coming off a win against the Clovis Wildcats. And we'll be welcoming head coach Mark Lopez first. He'll be joining us here around 6:30, so we'll get a chance to talk to both the coaches and get a chance to see what is going on from both men as we talk about the big game coming up this Friday, which, by the way, get your tickets online through the NMAA website. That's nmac.org. Get your tickets there. There will no be tickets sold at the gate. So make sure to get your tickets online if you want to see some exciting high school football. The big game of the week. It's the number 5 seed, Centennial Hawks, 8-1 on the season, taking on the number 12 seed, Las Cruces Bulldogs, who've had some games to play, but we'll see if that's an advantage or not. I've always kind of figured weeks off can sometimes be a good thing, and then sometimes they cannot be a good thing. While you might do all the scouting and everything you need, you still got to be 100% healthy, and some rust starts to develop after a couple of weeks of playing. 1 week's one thing, but this many weeks without a game, wow. And I mean, they had a regular season finale that Cruces beat Oregon Mountain on. Centennial was off. And then, of course, the next week after that, Las Cruces High would go on and win at home at the Field of Dreams against Clovis easily this past Saturday. And now a very short turnaround for them, but obviously a long break for the Hawks. We'll talk to both coaches to see if that makes any difference or not. I'm sure probably will not make too much, but we'll see how that plays out. Now, we've got all these forums and platforms that we're on, so we'll get a chance to test out a lot of things. So I want you to go ahead and reach out to us. And now I can see so many things here that I didn't have before. So now I have access to our sports stickers and everything such. And we get to talk a little bit of sports. We were hoping to get a chance to talk with Max tonight, but he is not here, not to worry. We've got great appetizers and great drink specials. And the folks here at the Broken Spoke Taphouse take care of you. I'm going to bring up the Amador website here in just a second at amadorlive.com. But I'll remind people that after Saturday's New Mexico State UTEP minor basketball game, the big after party is going to be here at Jack's. Make sure to go up on the roof and you can check out all the great excitement and hopefully celebrate an Aggie win as we welcome Coach Golding to the Pan American Center to bring that rivalry up. So obviously we're getting excited for that, and we want you to be a part of that as well. All right, I'm going to go through some of the sports ticker headlines that we've got going on as we got a final here. Let's see. We have the NMSU Aggies that beat the Western New Mexico Mustangs, and women's basketball final score 94-40 on that game. Molly Kaiser led the way in scoring for New Mexico State with 18 points, 7-11 shooting, 4-4 at the free throw line. Right off the bat, the Aggies took the lead and never looked back. They had outshot Western New Mexico 47% to 31% from the three-point line. New Mexico State shot 37%. Western New Mexico 31%. Rebounding wise, New Mexico State had 41 rebounds compared to Western New Mexico's 25. And as far as turnovers go, wow, you're going to like this here. Western New Mexico had 26 turnovers in that game. And what's it called? And then let's see here. I'm getting all the updates now here. And I got a sports breaking headline, too, that I want to pass along. I mentioned 26 turnovers for Western New Mexico. New Mexico State only had 7. I did want to let you know that we do have a high school update as well. Isaiah Carr from the Las Cruces Bulldogs team be signing his basketball scholarship to play at Grand Canyon University on Friday. I'll try to get you more details about that. So, yeah, be prepared for that. It's the Antelope shirt, and we'll see if we can get a word from Isaiah Carr there. I want to go back to the Western New Mexico State game. New Mexico State got off in the first period in early lead, 23-11, then outscored Western New Mexico 24-7. From there, it was just all Aggies. They dominated once again. Molly Kaiser had 18 points for New Mexico State. New Mexico State had five players in double digits, including Gray's as well. I want to get Gray's stats here. So I'm just getting all these stats as they come in. Tylen Gray's, who finished with 16 points in the game for New Mexico State. So 10 points for Gray's in the game, finishing with 16 points in the game. And I'll get the stat here for you. That would be Baik Saad, who would finish with 16 points. So a great win for head coach Brooke Atkinson and her squad as they get a big win at home. And now we'll go Saturday to take on Incarnate Word. We had a chance to speak with Mario Mocha this morning on the airwaves, and talking to Mario Mocha, very excited that New Mexico State will now be a part of Conference USA. So already kind of a welcome to the Conference USA rival matchup that'll come up on Saturday. It's not for a conference game. It's a non-conference one. But for New Mexico State, that'll be exciting. I did talk to him for a little bit, asked him how the adjustment was going to go, and this will definitely help football-wise. It was one of the best options there going on. And, I got another message here, too. I forget, we got a lot of signing here. Let's see. Let's see. I wanted to bring this one up. This came from Mr. Shopacon, the principal over at Oregon Mountain High. Thanks for tuning in, Mr. Shopacon. Harmony Dominguez will be signing Friday as well for Oregon Mountain to Adams State. So congratulations to Harmony Dominguez. Congratulations to her as well. We're going to bring up our first guest here. Go ahead, Coach. We're ready to bring you on. He's just finished up meeting with his team and getting all of his boosters ready to go. And we want to welcome head coach Mark Lopez from the Las Cruces High School Bulldogs. Here we go, Coach. I'll bring you in, and congratulations. Great win this past Saturday against Clovis, and no time to waste. Here we go. You get to take on the Centennial Hawks. I think you're excited to just keep playing, and let's go right at it, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. At this time of the year, you're trying to kind of earn each week and really earn as many weeks as you can together, and your team wants to stay together through the duration, and that's what you're trying to do, is earn one more week together.
Well, you got one more week, but this one's a big one, and it's kind of I would say, bulletin board material aside, you guys know what you want on this one. You're not going to forget what happened during the regular season in that game, and I'm sure a lot of players know this is the chance of what I think they all like to say, redemption, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not often, in athletics or sports that you get a second chance like this, and so for us to have that second chance opportunity, I know it means a lot to our guys, it means a lot to our families, it means a lot to our coaches. And it's a great opportunity, especially, the way that one left a sour taste in our mouth.
Well, I tell you what, sour taste in your mouth, 28 points, don't want to ever go back on that. What did the team, I never asked the question, what was the team's mood like that next Saturday when they woke up? Were they texting each other, communicating with each other? How were they handling it? And then when they came to practice on Monday, were they able to shrug it off real quick and get right to business?
Yeah, it was tough. Not going to lie. It's tough on us. I think as adults, we're not as resilient as sometimes the kids are. I think a lot of times they bounce back quicker than we do, but that next morning was tough, and like we talked about, for 2.5 quarters, we looked like the hottest team in the state of New Mexico, and we were probably the best coaches that walked the halls in the history of Cruces High. And then a quarter and a half later, even our pets are ugly, So it's just one of those situations where if you do this long enough, you kind of see a little bit of everything. And it's not the first time, unfortunately, that's happened to us in the history of the program. But boy, it sure did hurt, and it hurt the kids. But thankfully we were on a bye week the next week, so we were able to give them a couple of days off after we watched film on it on Saturday. And then, Monday and Tuesday, we just kind of lifted and stuff and played it low key. But then I was just shocked that that Wednesday when we got back, man, our guys came out with their hair on fire and had probably one of the best practices we've had all year. And so kind of flipped their determination and their realization of, them having to do all the little things in order to be successful. So I was just really proud of the way they responded.
They seem to be fired up against Clovis. First part of the game, got off to a quick 2-touchdown lead, never looked back from there. What were you impressed about what happened on Saturday?
I think just doing the little things. I think we executed at a high level. I think we were able to play some base defense and just kind of get after it defensively. We didn't have to do, any kind of crazy scheming or anything like that. Offensively, move the ball well. Just us kind of coming out and doing the little things, because that's what you're stressing, all the time, right? All off season, all season. It's just, if we take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. And that's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, is just really taking care of those little things, our job, going out and trying to execute at a high level.
Well, when I see little things, I always think, okay, it comes down to blocking, tackling. It also comes down to controlling the line. You obviously love to run the ball, and your quarterback loves to get out of the pocket, probably a little more than you like him to. But it still is something, those little things make a difference. But if it can be put together and a game plan put in, it should lead to a win on Friday, should it?
Yeah, we hope so. I mean, I think it's one of those situations where, we're this week, we're playing a great team. These guys are crazy talented. We got to see them last time. Now you get to see them on film against you, and you know that they're really talented. They've had a rare opportunity, which is that they've had 3 weeks to get ready for us, which is really weird. Sometimes the team has a bye week before you. But I don't think we've ever played anybody that's had 2 bye weeks to get ready for you. So
is that an advantage, or is that something that, or you think, boy, you hope that they have some rust showing in the first couple of periods to get a lead on them?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. It's rare. So, it's one of those things where you never really see. It's almost like one team getting ready for a bowl game and the other team kind of playing the rest of the season. And so it's a weird deal. But so you got those things stacked against, and okay, reasons why maybe you could have excuses why not to, but that's just not been this group. That's not our program. We don't make excuses. We know that they're a dang good team, and we know we're going to have to play at a high level, and we're going to have to kind of continue to do what we've been doing to make us successful. And you're always going to mix in a couple things. It's playoff time, but at the end of the day, you're exactly right. You got to go block well. You got to tackle well. And you got to do simple better than what they do simple.
Well, before he gets here, because he'll be here soon, too, that'll be Coach Ocampo. What are the 3 keys to winning? Not that he can't go back and watch video and see this stuff, but what are the big 3 things that you got to do in order to get this win against the number 5 seed?
Well, I think number 1, I think you got to tackle well. I think that their number 2, their running back he's been a big playmaker all year. And as we chart big plays, and we posted on our boards, he's had 35 big plays this year in their offense. And that's an astronomical number. It's something that when you put up there, I think week in and week out here in the last couple of weeks, their big playmakers have had like 16, 15. So to have more than double that, man, the guy's a heck of a playmaker. You got to tackle well. I think, of course, our offensive line has got to do a great job recognizing all their movement. They run a lot of movement at us defensively. We've got to do a great job recognizing that and kind of executing our schemes, our blocking schemes. And then I think 3, I think you got to play downhill. I think both sides of the ball, you got to play downhill at them. You can't be tentative. You can't be passive, because once you start getting into those passive modes, that's kind of what caught us in the second half last year. Last time we played them was that we kind of got a little passive defensively and offensively too, to be honest. And we can't do that. You got to continue to play aggressive downhill football.
Which playmakers for you are going to be the ones that can determine this game next to your quarterback? Who else has got to step up, have a great game in order for you guys to pull out this win?
Yeah, I think playmaking wise, you look at Dallas, of course, Boyd as quarterback, and he's done a tremendous job for us. Eli Ogas in the backfield as our running back's done a great job. And then, Zakai Hawkins as a sophomore receiver has been one of the more dynamic playmakers in the state, really, to this point. But then we got some real good complementary guys. We got 2 tight ends that are darn good, in Eli and Isaiah Carrion and Rico Andrade. And then you got other receivers, Richie Madrid and Berto Zamora. So those guys have all kind of had their moments as the year's gone along, and they've all shown that they're capable of handling these big moments and making big plays in those moments. So I think those guys will all be huge for us, along with the rest of our offensive line.
Well, I tell you what, this is going to be an exciting game, 7 o'clock. I have to remind people to get their tickets online only. It won't be sold at the gate at the Field of Dreams. And heck, you even got Toshiro done now, so that means your fans can finally get in. Do you know which side you guys sit on, or you got to be on the
We're on the visitor side.
Visitor side. Okay. So Playing well, 3 weeks. You never seen anything like this. Are we still in the system? And I didn't get a chance to ask right now. Seating, do they have the home games, or do you eventually still have to play each other at home, each under own home games owned if you could win?
Right. The first 2 rounds are the higher seed at the higher seed. And then after that, in the semifinals and the finals, it's who owes who from the semifinal final history. So it doesn't go quarterfinal history, first round history doesn't have any indication. It'd be who played who in the semifinals or finals in the last.
So in this point case, no matter what you win, you're going up to Cleveland, or is that how that?
No, actually, as a matter of fact, I think Cleveland owes us.
So the game would be here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, right. So that's something that would be great. How great would it be to get a win here, then get ready to take on probably the best team in the state and here at the Field of Dreams and let it all hang out?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I mean, we got Centennial, of course, and that's the only thing that we can worry about. We haven't earned the right to worry about anything else. And but if that does happen down the road, then we've played Cleveland this year as well. And so we've seen both of these darn good teams. Top 4 teams. I think we had in our pre-district schedule. I think we played 5 top 7 ranked teams, and so we've had a heck of a schedule, and we've been battle tested, and now it's about trying to put it together on Friday night and making it happen.
Do you see it in practice? Do you see them starting to work the things put together? Do you see the extra effort going on from each and every one of your players?
Yeah, we call it driving the bus. It's at some point, all great teams, as a team, they have to kind of take over driving the bus, right? It can't be your coaches that are driving the bus all the time. And I'd say probably about a month or a month and a half ago, these guys kind of started driving the bus. They kind of started taking control of the energy at practice, the accountability of guys being there and being prepared and everything like that. And in order for us to move forward, that's how it's got to work. I've been blessed to be a part of 6 state championship teams, and on every one of those teams, they started driving the bus, and they just kind of start taking that accountability in everything that we do. And it's great to see. And this team has done that. We didn't start that way. We definitely didn't start that way, but they learned over time kind of how to do it. And it's been really fun to watch.
You said you've been a part of 6 championship teams. Do you see some relations on this team compared to teams in the past that have won it and got it done?
Yeah, I do. There's differences and similarities. I think all 6 of our championships, they've been very, very different teams. Probably the 2 closely related were 99, 2000, just because we were back to back and, had a lot of similarities. But other than that, man, there's been a lot of differences. And so there's kind of pieces of those successful teams in this team. But at the end of the day, it's their chance to leave their legacy, and they understand that. It's the 2021 legacy, and what are you going to leave for yourself? We don't get any touchdowns from any past teams or anything like that. And so they've got to do a great job of understanding that this is their chance to leave their mark.
What's the big piece that you see on this team that maybe most people don't see?
I think just the resiliency, the heart. I think that we had a really rough schedule. We came back and we thought that we had something that quite wasn't built yet. We didn't have kind of the foundational pieces of understanding, even just how to go prepare, of how to go watch film, how to get a scouting report, how to learn a script. And so we had to kind of rebuild that. And we were rebuilding that with some really tough opponents. And it would have been really easy for these guys to get down on themselves. As a coaching staff, I think our coaches did a tremendous job, kind of keeping them moving forward and looking at the next and understanding how we follow that recipe for success and get better every week, every day. And they did. And they've seen it. They've reaped the success from that, and it's been really, really fun to watch how resilient they are and how you can build mental toughness. Nobody's born with mental toughness. You build it, and this is one of those teams that's built this mental toughness. And man, sometimes that's as rewarding as anything. Watching them kind of learn how to deal with hardships both on and off the field and overcome them and move forward. And so that's the thing I see every day from these guys.
You're looking at a game, and I know some people say, hey, you bring up the pandemic, but I'm also like, it's part of what's been going on. You've had COVID-19 that's took out some games, took out some players in part. So far, does it look like you're going to be okay for this game on Friday, or are you going to have some players that have to go into that protocol system where they won't be available?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, we're waiting on a couple. I think that's always going on. And you're exactly right. It just affects everything, all the time. And it's just, it's ever present. And I think I worded it to somebody, and it's not just the effects of having COVID, but it's just the effects of everything that's gone on, obviously, over the last year and a half, 2 years. And every day feels like the Twilight Zone, in some way, shape, or form. Like you get just some weird things pop up, and then you kind of have learned how to deal with some of that and kind of, accept that. That Twilight Zone
Well,
moments.
and the reason I bring it up is because it makes a difference. You can lose a playmaker,
Right.
And that can also be on the same part. So you prepare for one part, and then the next thing you know, somebody else has got to come in. And then when you're even scouting the other team, that happens as well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's, I think in football, maybe we're more equipped to deal with it than other sports because we're so used to dealing with injuries and dealing with the guys who are out for maybe a week or so, and then they come back. And so, I think, again, we've kind of had that all year with injuries and so on and so forth, sickness, injuries, and we found ways to overcome it. And if it does happen this week, I know obviously case numbers are bad right now in our county, in our state. If it does happen this week, then man, we just got to find a way to overcome it, just like I'm sure anybody else does in the state.
Well, like I said, that's something that, I hate to say, but I mean, you look at college basketball, NFL, everything such. The Cowboys are going to have their kicker on the COVID-19 protocol. Right. So, it just ends up that way. But, the important thing is the health and the safety of the players. And that's something you guys have been working on all year.
Yeah. I think our protocols, we were kind of, I guess, lucky in a sense that we were the first ones as coaches in Las Cruces to kind of start the protocols for COVID, so we were the first ones back before, we were able to do summer practices before anybody was back in school. And a lot of those protocols were developed through athletics, through us and kind of figuring out what worked and what didn't work. And so at least in our district it was. And I think we were really lucky in that sense because we were able to kind of help be leaders in that sense and kind of get these protocols set. And so, we're pretty well versed in them by now. If kids aren't well versed in them by now, I don't know where they've been, but it's easy to get laxed by the same token, because you've been doing it so long. So you got to still stay on their butts a little bit.
Well, something I want to point out here, and I know that you don't bring it up much, but I know for a fact because tomorrow I get to interview the Lieutenant Governor again. You've been really much involved speaking with his staff, speaking to him personally, telling him during the COVID part of how you could play the game, how it could be played safe, how the pods are probably going to be something that didn't come through. Have you been in contact with him any more to talk about as you look ahead to the future playing with COVID-19, knowing that's going to be here for probably ever?
Right. Yeah. You know what? We haven't spoken in a while. The last time we spoke, was when we were still kind of fighting for our season. And, we were fighting for the opportunity especially for our seniors last year to get to play, and there was definitely a group of coaches from around the state that really kind of, we were just really advocating for our kids, and I think at the end of the day, that's what we were doing and trying to find a way that we could do it safely. And the fact that we did get through last year and very, very successfully and very few people got sick, if any, in our program. And I think it just speaks to the fact that, our leaders were willing to kind of listen and work with us. And of course, Dr. Trujillo, late Dr. Trujillo was just instrumental in that fight for us and being able to get back on the field. And so I haven't been able to speak with anybody. Haven't really had any reasons to advocate.
You're like, I'm too busy on the football season. Yeah, no, I don't want to go. No, but you know what, though? He does take your opinion part. You showed him what it was going to be like. I know that he mentioned that a couple times, so I thought I'd point that out because I've known him well enough that we can ask that. And he's like, no, I talked to Coach Lopez. I'm going to meet with Coach Lopez because there's always that question. I think we forget just almost a year ago, we were just talking about, hey, can we keep masks on? How can we play with masks? Well, I mean, that was earlier in the year, but I mean, it was very tough.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But how great is it to have people like that? I think to me, that's what's missing in a lot of cases. You have people like Howie that, is willing to listen and willing to talk to you and willing to hear about what are you going through? What are you seeing at the ground level? Because at the end of the day, that's where everything's happening, right? I mean, it's happening at the ground level. It's happening with us and kids and parents and what are we having to deal with? What are our challenges and what do we think we can do to kind of overcome them? And when you have somebody like Howie and Dr. Trujillo that are willing to sit down and listen to you and bounce ideas off of you, be seeing that you care so much and seeing that you're willing to advocate for kids and you're willing to look and do pretty much anything for your kids and your program. Man, how huge is that, right? I mean, that's everything. Like that got us to where we are right now. They could have easily shut us down, but because of people like Dr. Trujillo and Howie and like that, it's made everything just possible. So it's just so great to have them. I can't give them enough credit.
I tell you what, one of the great things about being a part of the Bulldog program this week and the last week is you got 2 home games. How great is that to be around home area, sleep in your beds, don't have to worry about any travels, don't have to worry about any kid being late for a bus or having to pick up somebody here and there. How great is it to have that, knowing that you get to play another 2 here and maybe even a third if that goes that way?
Yeah, you never know. Exactly. It's awesome. It's awesome. We've had, of course, I've been at Cruces High now 24 years and or 25 years. This is my 25th, and man, how great is it? Because we have a lot of playoff traditions, right? We have traditions in our program, things we do. I mean, every month a year, January, February, March, April, May, and just things that we've established over all the years. And right now we're in some of my favorite traditions. We get the night before, we get together for a big team meal that the parents make, and then we go to the movies together and watch our movies. And it's just kind of this big family atmosphere, and knowing that the next day we're going to kind of go to battle together. And it's just, yeah, I mean, you feel it, you even see it when you watch film, your grass is yellow, you're watching it under the lights. I mean, all these things that are just great playoff things, that indicate, okay, you're in the playoffs now.
And I'm sure you're happy there's colder weather now too.
Sure,
but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the kids are as much as anything, right? They don't like wearing all that stuff when it's hot. But yeah, last Saturday it was hot though. You couldn't tell.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine. I can imagine your trainers are like cramp. How many times was that said? Everything's
right.
All right, so here's a part. What movie did you guys watch last week when you guys got together before Clovis?
We watched, let me think of it. It was kind of a strange movie, to be honest. The Eternals. Okay, the new Marvels movie. Yeah. Yes, yeah. It was a little strange, man. A little out of my realm.
Oh boy. What are you gonna watch this week?
We're actually watching Venom, which I've heard is better. We're watching Venom this week, which is another, I guess, Marvel's kind of branch off. So.
But no 007 in here.
You know what?
No remember the Titans. No Rudy or anything.
Yeah, well, it's got to be a movie that's out, and so I was kind of advocating for 007, but at the end of the day, I always let our seniors choose, and so the seniors chose Venom. So it's all right. I'll go along with it as long as I get some popcorn. I'm all right.
You know what? You say 24 years. You think do you think half your team's even seen the movie Rudy or seen any of those films? Like Remember the Titans or Friday?
Have, because I show it every time we're on the bus when we go to trips and everything.
Uh-huh.
So I make
so now you don't get to show these movies because you're playing home.
That's right. Now we can watch current movies.
And now you're like, what's this Eternals stuff?
Exactly.
What are we watching here, guys? Don't we have any football movie coming out? Well, Kurt Warner's got a football movie coming out.
Right?
Yeah, they're going to do a story about Kurt Warner come Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
If you ended up playing for a state championship, you could almost see that one.
There you go, man. That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love talking to you about football and stuff. Got to ask, did you watch last night's Monday Night Football game?
I did, and I got home kind of late, and then when I got home, my son, he wanted to hang out and do some things, and so he kind of decorates his own helmet at home, and so I was helping him get his helmet all situated and stuff. So I didn't get to see much of it at all. Was it pretty crazy?
Yeah, pretty a lot of officiating calls.
Now that I did read this morning, that there was some questionable stuff. Yeah, I guess we've all been there, huh?
But it's something to say credit to the officials here at the NMAA and that they've been working. I mean, they've been short-staffed. You've had to move games. You've had Saturdays to Thursdays. I'm sure you did not mind that whatsoever to play on a Thursday night compared to a Saturday, because it's a difference in temperatures makes a big difference in the football field.
Yeah, and for us, we don't carry a big staff. I've never really believed in carrying a huge coaching staff, and so for us, when you think about it, when you play on a Saturday, you've got to do everything on a Sunday that you would normally do on a Saturday and Sunday. So it squeezes 2 days into one for a staff, and it makes it really, really tough to have Saturday games. So anytime we can have Thursdays over Saturdays, I'll take it in a heartbeat. But you're exactly right, man. These officials, I know I tell them every time out, just huge thank you. We have some great ones here locally, man, that are super dedicated. I know they come out and train, they watch video, they do everything. And with being as short-staffed as we are, I mean, we can't do this without them. And so I know for a JV game, even earlier this year, they were able to move some things around, and they were willing to do back-to-back JV freshman games in order just to let our kids play. And yeah, I mean, you can't say thank you enough to that, because I mean, it takes everybody, like we talked about earlier with Dr. Trujillo and Howie and everybody that's advocated for our kids. It takes everybody, and you can't do it without these officials, man. And them being able to be so dedicated and willing to work with us, I can't thank them enough.
Let's talk about the support you get from your principal, Ms. Rogna, and everyone else at the school. How great is it to have that support, and how much are they behind you going into this week?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, what can you say? I mean, in my opinion, we have the best principal in the state of New Mexico. She's incredible, the way that she works for and advocates for kids. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we're doing, right? I mean, we're here because we're trying to build young men and women and help them be successful in life. And she's, in my opinion, she's the best at doing it. I mean, she just works tirelessly. She values athletics, activities. She values whatever is going to motivate kids. That's what she values. And I'm a big advocate for that. And from an athletics and I always make the argument of we're in this for the end product, right? I mean, we're in this to kind of help make them productive, good members of society. And whether they're a student athlete or an athlete student, I had a daughter that was a student athlete, and she's a 4.0 plus. She went to college, she got her degree. It did a great job. She's getting ready to enter the workforce. Knock on wood, everything going well. And then I had a son who was an athlete student. 4.0 student, going to college, doing everything. So wherever they find their motivation, if they find their motivation in FFA, if they find it in band, if they find it in an arm wrestling club, if they find it in whatever they're doing, man, if the end product ends up the same, well, why are we picking at them? And I think that's something that she does a great job of understanding. Like, look, we're going to find what motivates these kids to be better, and what motivates them to come to school, what motivates them to get good grades, what motivates them to get to graduate. And we're going to play on that. And I think that's the great thing about Cruces High in general is we just have a lot of people that really understand that, that we put on some incredible plays and shows, and we do have an arm wrestling club.
All right, do you get to help on that, by the way?
Yeah, no, but I have a good.
What do you do there on the arm wrestling club? Now you put yourself on the spot here. What are you doing?
One of my best buddies actually runs that club. That's why I use it as an example, and he does a great job. He just gets them in, and I guess there's all kinds of strategies for arm wrestling, which he would laugh at me for saying that, but there is. There's a ton of stuff that these guys learn. But again, I mean, if that gets a kid to go to their 7th period class because they know that they're going to go to arm wrestling right after that, then great, right?
I'm like, I did not know that was going to be.
Yeah, but there's all kinds of them, right? We have so many clubs and activities, and I think that's a big part of kind of Miss Ranga and kind of the culture that we have at Cruces High, and going back to her, just how supportive she is and how much she just really tries to just make things happen for all of us, and it's just. We appreciate her more than probably she even knows, and probably more than we tell her.
And I'm sure that she really appreciates you saying that. There's a big signing day coming up here soon. We got some of your players that are being signed. Am I correct?
Well, not yet. I mean, we are. We will have some kids, God willing, that are going to get signed. Dallas got an offer just the other day, and I think we're going to have a couple others that are going to get some offers here, as this continues to progress. But, I don't know if we're going to have D1 guys or not, but we don't have any guys on the early signing period, but hopefully in the spring when we'll have a few.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. This is going to be a big game coming up on Friday night, 7:00 once again. And as you look forward to it, parents always having their support. They've always had your back on things going here. How excited are they for this game coming up on Friday?
They're fired up, man. I mean, this community is incredible. I mean, you've been a part of it for a long time, like I have, and you just see how supportive this community is, and just, man, they just rally around everything. They love good football, and they've loved good football for a long time, and they will go out there and support you if you're playing good football and good anything, right? I mean, they support basketball, baseball, I mean, everything. And so it's a great community, and our parents are second to none. I think our booster club's amazing in what they do. And I'm just, man, I'm lucky to be a part of this whole thing.
I'd love to look at the history books and state playoffs and figure out when's the last time a team hadn't played in 3 weeks. And a team that played on a Saturday gets the smallest turnaround ever. I mean, you're focusing everything on Clovis, and then you get only a few days on Centennial, but it doesn't seem to bother you.
No. I mean, shoot, you can't. You got to take everything in stride at this time of the year. And like I said, I think when we put up magnets on our giant whiteboard, and it has the weeks that we get to spend together, and we know that those last 4 weeks are earned together, right? And so these ones are given to us in a non-COVID year, but these ones are given to us, and then we got to earn those last weeks together. And so anytime you get a chance to pull off those last magnets that you earned together, man, I'm not going to sit there and cry about a Saturday to a Friday or them having 3 weeks. It's an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting storyline, but at the end of the day, we're really happy to be playing.
Well, and I think also you think about it, we are happy to be playing where we were from the spring, the way the games have played out. I think it worked out better to the advantage of where you were at there. So I'm glad that did. So this will be an exciting one, and we're going to see how everything breaks down in the next couple of days. Yeah. So right now, the other coaches showed up, so we'll be talking with him in a second, and you're going to say nothing but great things about him on your way out, aren't you?
Always, as long as you know he's
got a question. All right. Well, you can come up here a little bit, Coach. Coach Ocampo wants to ask you a question. I don't have a problem with asking you a question.
First question is for him. What's your first play on Friday?
What's your first play on Friday?
I was going to ask the same.
David's going to ask the same question. I have and we even got some fans participation over here. You can come up and ask a question if you like. You're
Go
welcome
Dogs,
to.
baby.
Okay, I can already tell you somebody's doing an onside kick is the first play right off the bat. That's not going to happen on either one. All right, heads or tails? You going to tell your you got to tell them that one?
Yeah, man, I have no idea. I let my seniors do that. Shit, I'm terrible at that stuff.
You've never once you told your
never.
players to do pick one. All right, both you two.
I lose every time. I'm terrible at that. Yeah, if I buy a raffle ticket, I let somebody else pick it.
I'm going to let you have the final say. What's your message to the Bulldog fans and the Bulldog Nation as you come ready for Friday night's matchup? When, by the way, you got to get your tickets at nmac.org. Make sure to get them through the NMAA website. What do you want to say to the Cruces fans and everyone coming up?
Yeah, I think just the community in general, man. We just have, like I said, we have such an incredible community that supports, our high school athletics, and we look forward to seeing you there and look forward to trying to represent Bulldog Nation in the best way possible. So go Dogs, baby.
All right, enjoy Venom with your team, and we'll see how that plays.
I'll try, man. I'll try.
And you'll have to explain to me Eternals. I still haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, I can't explain it. Don't ask me.
Okay.
I watch that seven times.
And then when we want to talk some arm wrestling, let's get your friend over and we'll talk some arm wrestling here if you got a chance.
I'll have him bring the arm wrestling club.
What's his name, by the way?
It's Chris Reynolds, man. Coach Reynolds. We coached together for a lot of years, and yeah, he hung up the old coaching whistle, but now he's doing good stuff in the classroom and in that arm wrestling club.
All right, Coach Mark Lopez joining us from Las Cruces High School Bulldogs, 7:00 this Friday night. I'll go take that from you, and I'll welcome our next coach here in just a few seconds. You're listening to the Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast as both coaches exchanging pleasantries, and we're going to bring head coach Aaron Ocampo joining us next year in just a moment. As let me give him a few seconds to coordinate with the coaches, and they both wanted to know each other's first play, so I don't think that's gonna be happening. But of course, Bulldog fan back there. All right, class of what year? Class of 2000, 2020. You went to Mayfield, okay. Little cousins. All right, there you go. Coach Ocampo, come on in. He's our next guest on the Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast. Good to see you once again. Aaron Ocampo joining us here, and we are getting ready to talk about the matchup, and we just heard from head coach Mark Lopez. He gave all the secrets away, so you're going to have to go back and watch the video, Coach. Late, huh? Yeah, well, if you would have been there, you saw. Not just kidding, Coach. Just kidding. Let's get right to it. This is a strange situation your team comes into play in. 3 weeks off. What have you done within the time? What has the team done? Maybe tired of screaming at each other? How excited are they to get back on the field Friday night?
I think they're going to be real excited to play. I mean, we've had 2 weekends we didn't have games. And I've done this once in my coaching career. When I was at Manzano, we had a week where we had a bye week the last week of the season, and then we were a top seed, so we had another week off. And it was challenging. It was challenging for our kids. But I told them on Thursday, because we gave them Friday off last week. I told them Thursday, hey, now the worst part's over. Now it's game week. Now we're playing a game this week and everything. So we're going to be excited to play. And there's nothing you can do to control it. You see college football teams play bowl games where they're off for a month and they don't forget how to play football. They're ready to go. And if it's been any consolation, our kids have gotten healthy. We have some kids that were banged up, and we got some kids back.
Who was banged up the most right now that you might be able to...
I don't want to talk about that.
No, okay. You want to keep everything on. All right.
We had a few kids that felt like after the Hobbs game that they probably couldn't have played that next week. So it's kind of a blessing that we had that week off, and then we had the other week off. And it's always good to advance in the playoffs without playing. And that's what we did. But now we've got quite a test this week. We've got the Bulldogs, and they're quite a good football team.
Well, let's talk about regular season. Your team was down 27 points, came back and scored 28 unanswered to win that game. How much did that change the season and everything that you had going into this year? And do the players still remember that fresh in their minds, knowing that, okay, we know what we have to do. If we're down, we can triumph over this. Do you think they have gotten more experience after that game?
I think you gain confidence from a comeback like that. I don't know how much it changed our season. I think our kids have had a great season this year. Cruces is a good football team. They were up on us big, and I think we just kind of settled down and started playing good football. We made some adjustments and did some things different, but more than anything, our kids just started settling down and playing good football. And sometimes, when you have a lead like that and the other team starts getting momentum, it's kind of hard. You're, on the other side, you're just kind of sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop. And fortunately for us, we made the plays and ended up scoring, the points to win the game.
It's the best part of sports because you have to learn from that. And so your team takes some advantages and looks at confidence, but also you hope they don't get too overconfident on those situations and don't think that that's going to be something that plays in. It's a whole new game, whole new start of 0-0 when you get started.
Definitely. I mean, I think this is such an interesting game, this playoff matchup, because we're trying to prove we're not the team from the first half, and they're trying to prove they're not the team from the second half. And we have great respect for the Bulldogs. They're a heck of a football team, so well coached, such tough kids. They're a senior loaded team with a bunch of kids that are, that want to play great their senior year, and I'm sure they're looking very much forward to playing us again.
Well, I tell you what, this will be great here. Get a chance to be at home. Glad to have those first 2 seeds the way the NMA sets it up to play home games. Are you happy with that, knowing that the 5th seed turned out to be a blessing for you guys where you were at?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you prefer to play at home, but in all honesty, I kind of like going on the road. I kind of like having our team on a bus together. We get to kind of focus and relax instead of have all of the distractions of a school day or what have you. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter. I tell our kids all the time, we'll play in the parking lot at Tuesday at 3 a.m. Let us know when the game is. We'll be there. We'll be ready to play.
But you thought, well, you might have a chance to go on the road. If you're to win this game, you would go on the road to take on Cleveland. Is that where you'd be at, or did they owe you?
So we only have previous history in the semifinals in 6A. We've had semifinal and championship experience when we were 5A, but the only previous history we have is with La Cueva.
Okay.
So La Cueva would owe us. We don't have any history with anybody else if we were to win. So we would have to go to the higher seeds. Rio Rancho and Cleveland are higher seeds. And then if anybody else is still in, then we would host the lower seeds.
Well, let's keep focusing. And I wanted to look on that, but I wanted to focus still on Friday's matchup. What are going to be the keys for your team? What do you expect? What are 3 things that you think you have to do to get this win and advance on to move on to the state semifinals?
I think we need to limit the running game. If we're going to win, we've got to limit their running game. They've got the Boyd kid and they've got the Ogos kid that are great backs, and more than anything, their line is just tremendous. They've got a tremendous offensive line. Their tight ends block hard. So we've got to do a good job of limiting big plays in the running game. We've got to do a good job running the ball ourselves, and we've got to play sound in the special teams. We've got to play sound in the kicking game. I think those are the most important things.
All right. As we look ahead, what are some of the keys that you want from your playmaker? Who's got to step up to get this done?
I think our team collectively has to step up. I mean, you never really know going into a game. I mean, you have a game plan and you have thoughts of what you're going to do to attack the other team, but you never really know who the guys are going to be that are going to make those plays for you. So hopefully everybody's ready when their opportunity comes. They're making that tackle, or they're making a block, or they're making that run or that catch or what have you.
Well, I heard Coach Lopez talk about stopping your running game. He's been counting the number of big plays that he's had all season, so he's got those numbers already tallied. They can look that up. But running game has always been a key to your success this season so far. How excited are you about that?
I hope I'm excited about it Friday night. Cruces High has a really good defense, and I think both teams have explosive running games, and both teams have well-coached offensive lines, big, strong offensive lines. So it's going to be a fun game to watch, and I think both teams throw the ball well. They've got the number 11. There's a Zakai kid he has a sophomore.
He's a sophomore, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen many kids really track the ball as well as that kid does. He does a good job high pointing it. And Dallas throws a good deep ball, so they've got a good passing game too.
It's scary with Dallas because he has that combination of a lot of run, but they can also throw that pass, so he can catch you on one of those. Those big plays can make a big difference.
Definitely. So, key for us is to cut the explosive plays out, is to limit those explosive plays. And you want to make a team drive. You want to get stops. You want to get them punting the ball. So, just as a football fan, as a coach, obviously, you're going into the game worried about things. But as a fan, this is a fun game to watch.
Well, Coach Labyrinth is still probably sitting down watching tape right now, or are you going to go take him out of practice of the tape room, or is he still thinking of all the defensive ideas? Because that's what made a big difference in the last game.
Yeah, in the second half, I think we ended up making some plays defensively, getting some stops, and keeping them a little bit off guard. And we're blessed. Coach Lab's one of the best in the business, and we've got him. So we're blessed to have him. He does an outstanding job in just in-game management, knowing what their strengths are, and we've got a good coaching staff too, and trying to take away from what their strengths are and play good football. So we're excited about the challenge, but it is quite a challenge. I mean, you've got two great high school football teams playing in this game.
How does Coach Lab do it from now? Because his practice starts very soon for his girls' practice team, and how does he balance that? Or do you try to feed him some oxygen somewhere, or try to clone him? Did you clone him? Is that what happened there? Because if that's the case, then I look at a 49er fan and maybe another just a football team fan.
I honestly don't know how he does it, because he goes back and forth throughout the day. He has his class, so he's coaching basketball, and then he goes into watching film and doing stuff for football, and then has a couple classes he teaches, and then he gets girls basketball practice again, and right after he's out on the football field. And I don't know if many coaches could do that. He's the type of guy that can do that.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in a lot of small schools, but in bigger schools, it seems like you have enough coaches for everything else, even though the pay could be a lot better. Just saying, that would make a difference. COVID-19, I'll ask the same question as I did to Coach Lopez there. Is team protocols okay? Are you still waiting to hear if everyone's going to be okay for coming up Friday? Because he said that, he's concerned. He always has to look out for that. Are you paying close attention to how healthy your team is and making sure contact tracing being done, everything that needs to be done?
You know what? We do our best to make sure our kids, when we're inside, we're masked up. We've got masks over our face. We're, if anyone is contagious, we're doing our best to make sure that the masks are on so it's not spreading around. Obviously on the field, I guess the powers that be have determined that we're safe on the field without masks. And for the most part, I think we've been okay. You just worry. It's just a different time right now. 2 or 3 years ago, if you would have told me that we were wearing masks and we were doing this and that, I'd have thought, what are you talking about? What world are you talking about? But we're in it right now. You know what? I told somebody the other day, if I get to do the stuff that we really want to do and we got to put cloth over our face, I'm going to do it. Because last year at this time, we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs, not doing anything.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because we were talking about how the state playoffs, while we're looking, injuries are always a part of the game. You add this, I mean, protocols go in, players are out. That makes a difference.
Definitely.
So I'm sure that, you'll be keeping a close eye on that. To have this type of rivalry going on now with Cruces and to keep it going this way, and now for it meaning so much on the line, how much does this mean for your program as it's come through since you've been here since day one?
I feel this means a lot to our program. I mean, we tell our kids quite a bit. They walk around town with Centennial with a lot of pride, knowing that we're a good football program. We've done a lot of good things, and they have a lot of pride. And we tell them all the time, guys, it wasn't like this whenever the guys that made this program into what it is, when they started, they were laughed at. They were, oh, you guys are the ones going to Centennial. You guys are irrelevant. And those kids that started our program really did a great job of working hard and developing us into a solid team. Those first kids that came to us in the second year, we won the district championship. We beat Deming in the 5A district we were in, and we kind of shocked the world. They were ranked third in the state at the time and undefeated that year, and we beat them at their own place and won the district title. And those guys are the guys that started it off and got us to where we're at now, where we're competitive with the top programs like Cruces, like all the top programs in the state. And it's been a cool ride, but we're pushing to push that up another notch. And hopefully that's what we can do this playoff season.
Do you have any of these players from those teams coming to watch the game? Any of them hit you up, say they're going to see you on Friday?
You know what? I've had a lot over Twitter kind of mention things or retweet things. Hey, we need the game on Saturday so we can go watch it. Or I get guys text me, hey, we're watching the game. In fact, I got a message on Instagram today from one of our players from a few years ago, just thanking me and the other coaches for the difference that we've made in his lives. And he said, seeing you guys in the playoffs just reminds me of those good times that we had when we were in the playoffs. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of an awesome thing. And I think here in Cruces is such a special place because that brotherhood, that camaraderie that you have within your school is huge. And within our football program, I mean, guys that may not even know each other from, 7 years ago to now, they know who each other are, and I know who that guy is. And it's just kind of a special brotherhood that we all have together as Hawks, and it's not as big. I can't go into this bar and have people say, "Oh yeah, we pulling for the Hawks." Because there's not as much alumni, but we're growing. We're growing,
it is,
and we're getting better, and it's a special place to be, I believe.
It's going to be a special night. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game plays out. And, of course, we're inviting everyone to come on out and enjoy. You'll hear the game on Cool Oldies 104.5 FM and AM 570. The award-winning Jeff Matthews will have the play-by-play. I did ask Coach Lopez, what does he get to do before the game? His team is going to have their dinner and then go check out a movie. What is your team doing before the game night, on Thursday night, heading to Friday?
Okay, what we're going to do on Thursday is we're actually going to go watch a movie in the morning.
Oh, in the morning.
Yeah, because we don't have school Thursday.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So we're gonna watch
because of Veterans Day.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch a movie in the morning, and then
at the theaters, or
yeah, we're gonna do the theater, and we're gonna show them just a normal movie, not one of the movies that's out.
So you're gonna go see Eternals too, and be confused like Coach Lopez?
I don't know. My son could tell you all the Marvel movies.
Is that what you're going to go see? Is Eternals? Your son? No, they don't know what they're going to see.
I don't know.
You'll probably get James Bond what he wanted. So, and then what else happens?
And then we're gonna practice in the afternoon, do our walkthrough, and then we always do a team meeting at the end where kids are going to talk and coaches are going to talk at the meeting, and we make commitments to each other. And then at the end, I give a little talk. I usually give some candy out to the players and send them all home.
There you go. So they're still getting trick-or-treating then.
Yeah, we do it every week.
There you go. And what is your son's favorite candy, by the way? Does he get to enjoy there?
What's your favorite candy bar, Jonah?
Reese's.
He actually has gone with me since he could walk. He'd go with me every Wednesday night to go pick out the candy that we're going to get for the team, and he always wants whatever his favorite candy is, but we end up.
And none of the players complain about it, so that works even better.
Well, if the players complain, they never complain to me. My wife always asks. She says, "Well, what did the players say?" I said, "They didn't say anything. They're the players.
They're the players. You're the coach.
Coach.
Yeah, that's how that works. That's how that dynamic.
They may complain, but it's not
I know
to me.
most people don't understand that, but that'll work. Coach, once again, for those just tuning in, what are the keys to the win and what's going to take to beat the Dogs and move on to the semifinals?
I think the biggest key is dominating the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. I think the team that does that, the team that runs the ball the best, the team that stops the run the best, and the team that plays the most sound in the special teams is going to be successful.
All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us here. I think our cameras get split up there sometimes, but I want to thank you for coming out here and making it. And I know you had a busy part, everything such going on. So I wanted to thank you for taking your time to join us. This should be a fun game at the Field of Dreams, 7:00. You'll be able to hear the game once again for free. Cool Oldies, 104.5 FM, AM 570. Jeff Matthews to have the play-by-play. And I'm sure he's looking forward to seeing both of you guys and seeing what happens. It will be a fun game.
It should be a real fun game.
All right. Number 5 versus number 12. Don't miss out. We'll see you here. And, of course, we want to see you out here at the Broken Spoke Taphouse as they've got college basketball games galore. Then they just turned them off right now. I don't know. Maybe they'll turn them back on here. I was watching a whole mess of them a few minutes ago, so hopefully we'll get those back on. And, of course, Thursday Night Football, we'll see it here on the NFL. And, well, if you watched Monday Night Football yesterday, they thankfully didn't show that game because I'm sure the officiating was in questionable form there. You didn't see anything that was wrong there, right?
You know what? I was watching practice film, so I didn't.
You didn't even bother to watch. He's so focused on Friday, folks. All right. Good luck to the Aggies. Good luck to everyone else. We'll be back next Tuesday night, 6:00 around this time here. We'll be welcoming one of the guests will be the Centennial cross-country coach to talk to him about Coach Epison, I believe. You know him, so he'll be joining us. And, of course, we do want to bring Coach Lab in to talk about girls basketball, but I'm going to let him breathe because to add anything else to his schedule will probably throw him off. So
yeah, you may need to give him
a few weeks. Yeah, and you're like, and Coach Al Rawson, we're working to get him on as well. So if you see him, tell me we're trying to find him. So we need to talk to him as well. So
I can get you his number if you'd like.
That'll work. We'll get that off the air. Thanks for joining us. This is the Mesilla Valley News Sports Podcast brought to you by our friends over at Ragged Apparel. Have yourselves a great one. We'll see you on Friday night. Listen to the game once again on our sister station, Cool Oldies 104.5 FM and AM 570.